My friend's mom has been calling me a lot lately, and today she said something that felt off. Should I be worried? Hey Reddit, my friend's mom, let's call her Linda, has always been friendly. She's the kind of person who never hesitates to strike up a conversation, and she's always been kind to me. But lately, something has felt off. It all started a few weeks ago when she began calling me more often. At first, I didn't think much of it. She'd occasionally text me to ask if her son, my best friend, Jake, was with me or if I knew where he was. That seemed normal enough. But then the calls started happening even when Jake was right there with her. It started with little things. She'd call just to ask how I was doing or what I was up to, which seemed a bit unusual but still harmless. I figured maybe she just saw me as another son. But then she started calling late at night. The first time it happened, it was around 11 p.m. I was half asleep when my phone buzzed. Seeing her name on the screen jolted me awake. My first thought was that something had happened to Jake, so I answered right away. But all she did was ask me random questions. What I was doing, if I was dating anyone, how I felt about my future. It was strange, but I chalked it up to her just being lonely or bored. Then, the next night, it happened again. And the night after that. Each time, the conversations got weirder. She'd ask about my personal life, about my family, even about things like what kind of girls I was into. One night, she told me she thought I was very mature for my age, that I had a certain charm about me. That was the first time I really felt uncomfortable. I laughed it off and tried to change the subject, but something in the way she said it stuck with me. I started ignoring some of her calls, hoping she'd take the hint, but that only made her more persistent. She'd leave voicemails saying she just wanted to talk or needed advice about something. She even started messaging me on social media, sending me random memes or tagging me in posts that had nothing to do with anything we'd ever talked about. Then came today. I was hanging out at Jake's house, just playing video games like we always do. Linda was there, moving around the house, occasionally stopping to chat with us. She seemed normal at first, but then, when Jake went to grab something from the kitchen, she sat down next to me on the couch. There was something different about her demeanor. She was too close, her knee almost touching mine. She smiled at me in this way that sent a weird chill down my spine. "You're such a handsome young man," she said. "You must have all the girls chasing after you." I laughed awkwardly, trying to brush it off. But she didn't stop there. She leaned in slightly, lowering her voice. "If I were younger, I'd be in trouble around you." That was it. That was the moment everything clicked. All the late-night calls, the weird messages, the constant need to talk to me. It wasn't just friendly concern. There was something else going on here, something that made me feel sick to my stomach. I didn't know what to say. I just mumbled something about needing to use the bathroom and got up as fast as I could. I locked myself in there, staring at my reflection in the mirror, my heart pounding. What the hell was I supposed to do? This was my best friend's mom. I couldn't just accuse her of being inappropriate without proof. And even if I did, what would that do to my friendship with Jake? I stayed in there longer than necessary, trying to calm myself down. When I finally came out, she was acting like nothing had happened, like she hadn't just said something that completely changed the way I saw her. I avoided eye contact with her for the rest of the night and left as soon as I could. But the worst part? As soon as I got home, my phone buzzed again. It was her. Another message. "I had fun talking to you today. You're really growing into a fine young man. We should chat more." My stomach twisted. She was getting bolder. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized. This wasn't something I could just ignore. I thought about telling Jake, but what the hell was I supposed to say? "Hey, man, your mom is acting really weird around me." It sounded insane. He'd probably laugh it off, call me paranoid, or worse, get angry. How do you tell someone that their mother is making you uncomfortable? I decided to keep it to myself for now, but I knew I had to find a way to shut this down. I ignored the message, hoping she'd get the hint. But the next day, she called again. And when I didn't pick up, she sent another text. Why are you ignoring me? Did I do something wrong? This was starting to feel like a trap. If I responded, I'd be engaging with her, and that was the last thing I wanted. But if I ignored her completely, would she get mad? Would she start making up lies? I didn't think she would, but at this point, nothing felt impossible. Later that night, I got another message. This time, it made my blood run cold. I hope you don't think I'm a bad person. I just see something special in you. I didn't respond. I just stared at my phone, my pulse pounding in my ears. What did that even mean? Was she testing me? Was she waiting for me to say something back? I barely slept that night, and the next morning, I was exhausted. When I saw Jake at school, I wanted to tell him so badly, but every time I opened my mouth, the words wouldn't come out. Instead, I acted normal, pretended nothing was wrong. But inside, I was screaming. Then, that afternoon, something happened that made everything 100 times worse. I was walking to my car when I saw Linda's car parked near the entrance of the school. At first, I thought maybe she was there to pick up Jake. But when I saw her waving at me, I knew. She was there for me. This wasn't just weird anymore. This was turning into something else entirely, and I had no idea how to make it stop. I froze. My feet felt like they were glued to the pavement as I stared at her car. Linda sat there, one hand on the steering wheel, the other waving casually like this was normal. Like she had every reason to be parked outside my school, waiting for me. But it wasn't normal. Not even close. My heart pounded in my chest as my mind raced through every possible reason why she would be here. Maybe she was picking up Jake. But no. Jake had his own car, and he'd already left. Maybe she had some errand nearby, but then why was she waving at me? I glanced around, half expecting someone else to notice how strange this was. But no one seemed to care. Just a bunch of students walking to their cars, talking, laughing, completely unaware that my best friend's mom was waiting for me like some kind of stalker. I thought about turning around, pretending I hadn't seen her, but before I could move, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I already knew who it was before I looked. I just want to talk. Every alarm bell in my head was screaming at me to ignore her. To walk away. But I also knew she wasn't going to stop. She'd keep calling, keep texting, keep showing up until I confronted this head-on. So, against my better judgment, I forced myself to walk toward her car. As soon as I got close, she leaned over and opened the passenger side door. Hopping for a second, she said with a smile, "I just want to chat." I hesitated. Every instinct I had was telling me not to get in that car. But at the same time, if I caused a scene, if I made this a big deal, what then? What if she told Jake some twisted version of this? What if she made me look like the bad guy? I needed to get control of this situation, and the only way to do that was to figure out what exactly she wanted from me. So, against my better judgment, I got in. The second the door closed, I regretted it. There was something too intimate about the space inside her car, the way her perfume filled the air, the way she turned slightly in her seat to look at me. Her smile was soft, almost affectionate. But there was something beneath it, something I couldn't quite place. "I don't understand why you've been ignoring me," she said. Her voice quieter now, almost hurt. Did I do something wrong? I swallowed hard. "Linda, I just think it's kind of weird that you're calling me so much," I said, keeping my voice even. "I don't want to be rude, but I don't really know what you want from me." She sighed, shaking her head like I was being ridiculous. "I just enjoy talking to you. You're different from other boys your age. You actually listen." I clenched my fists. This was bad. This was really bad. I needed to end this now. Linda, I think we should probably. Before I could finish, she reached out and placed her hand on my arm. It wasn't a casual touch. It lingered, her fingers lightly brushing against my skin. I tensed up immediately, my breath catching in my throat. "You're so tense," she murmured, her eyes studying me. "You don't have to be nervous." I jerked my arm away like I had been burned. "I need to go," I said quickly, reaching for the door handle. This was a mistake. A huge mistake. She sighed again, but this time, there was something else in her expression, disappointment. Like she had expected something different from me. But she didn't stop me as I pushed open the door and practically jumped out of her car. As soon as I was back in my own car, I locked the doors, my hands shaking as I gripped the steering wheel. My heart was racing so fast it felt like it might explode. That was it. That was the final straw. This wasn't just weird behavior anymore. This was something else. Something dangerous. I didn't even think twice before pulling out my phone and texting Jake. "Dude, we need to talk." Now, he didn't respond right away, but I didn't care. I was done keeping this to myself. I didn't care if he got mad. I didn't care if this ruined our friendship. Because Linda had crossed a line, and I wasn't going to let this go any further. That night, Jake finally called me. I could hear the confusion in his voice before he even said anything. "What's up, man? You okay?" I took a deep breath, steadying myself. This was it. The moment everything changed. "Jake, it's about your mom." Silence. "Then what about her?" I hesitated for only a second before I told him everything. The calls. The texts. The messages that had gotten weirder and weirder. The way she had touched me in the car. Every single detail spilled out of me, and the more I talked, the more sick I felt. When I finally finished, there was nothing but silence on the other end of the line. My stomach twisted. Was he mad? Was he going to accuse me of lying? Then, finally, he spoke. "I need you to come over. Right now." His voice was flat, unreadable. And that scared me more than anything. I didn't know what I was walking into, but I knew one thing for sure. This was far from over.